The Princes in the Tower. The mystery of England's missing heirs. In the summer of 1483, two young princes disappeared from the heart of England's most secure royal fortress. Their fate remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in British history. The story begins with the death of King Edward IV of England in April 1483. The king's eldest son, 12-year-old Edward, was next in line to the throne and was expected to become King Edward V. His younger brother, Richard, Duke of York, was only 9 years old. Because Edward V was still a child, his uncle, Richard, Duke of Gloucester, was appointed Lord Protector of the kingdom until the young king was old enough to rule. At first, everything seemed normal. Young Edward was traveling to London to be crowned king. Along the way, however, his uncle Richard took control of the situation. Edward was escorted to the Tower of London, which at that time served not only as a prison but also as a royal residence where kings often stayed before their coronations. A few weeks later, Edward's younger brother Richard joined him in the tower. The two boys were frequently seen playing within the fortress grounds. Witnesses described them as cheerful and healthy. But as the weeks passed, they were seen less and less. Then, suddenly, they disappeared. No official announcement was made. No explanation was given. The young princes simply vanished from public view. Meanwhile, dramatic events were unfolding across England. Richard, Duke of Gloucester, declared that his brother Edward IV's marriage had been invalid. This meant that Edward V and his brother Richard were considered illegitimate and therefore ineligible to inherit the throne. Soon afterward, Richard claimed the crown for himself and became King Richard III. Many people immediately became suspicious. The two boys stood directly between Richard and the throne. If they remained alive, they could challenge his claim to power. Rumors quickly spread throughout England that the princes had been murdered inside the tower. Yet no bodies were found. No witnesses came forward. No official investigation took place. As months turned into years, the mystery deepened. Some believed that King Richard III had ordered the deaths of his nephews to secure his position as king. Others argued that he had no reason to harm them once he had already gained control of the kingdom. Another theory emerged after Richard III died in battle in 1485. The new king, Henry VII, had also benefited from the prince's disappearance. Some historians have suggested that if the boys survived Richard's reign, Henry may have seen them as a threat to his own claim to the throne. The lack of evidence allowed countless theories to flourish. Over the centuries, writers, historians, and researchers have debated what happened behind the walls of the Tower of London. One of the most significant discoveries occurred in 1674. Workers renovating part of the tower found a wooden chest containing the skeletons of two children buried beneath a staircase. Many believed the remains belonged to the missing princes. The bones were later placed in Westminster Abbey. However, modern scientists have never been allowed to conduct full DNA testing on the remains. As a result, no one can say with certainty whether the skeletons actually belong to Edward and Richard. The mystery remains unsolved. Today, historians continue to examine documents, letters, and eyewitness accounts from the late 15th century. Some believe Richard III was responsible. Others argue that the evidence against him is largely based on rumors spread by political enemies. What makes the story so fascinating is the complete absence of clear answers. Two royal children entered one of the most famous buildings in England. They were seen by dozens of people. Then they disappeared. No confirmed records exist of their lives after the summer of 1483. No proven graves have been identified. No reliable witness ever revealed exactly what happened. More than 500 years later, the fate of the princes in the tower remains one of history's greatest cold cases. Were they murdered for power? Did they die from illness? Or did one or both somehow escape and live in secret? The truth may be hidden forever within the ancient stones of the Tower of London. Yet the mystery continues to captivate historians and history lovers around the world, standing as one of the most haunting stories of ambition, politics, and lost innocence in English history.